I say might be a Z Flip 6 killer because for Xiaomi's first attempt at a flip phone, this stands out really well amongst the likes of Motorola and Samsung because based on specs, this is impressive. We'll talk about the cover displays in a second, and the Galaxy Z Flip 6 and the Mix Flip have a couple of things in common. First of all, design-wise, both these flips look pretty similar with its boxy feel and its hinge that look pretty much identical to the eye. The Mix Flip has these shiny aluminium edges and the Galaxy Z Flip 6 gives you more of a muted matte finish with its aluminium edges. And both these phones, turning them over, again have something similar. You have these matte finishes on the back and the Z Flip is a little bit more muted with its matte colors and the Mix Flip is a little bit more in your face with this shiny pink color. Both of these flip phones share the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and 12 gigs of RAM. Now, the Z Flip 6 starts at 128 gigs of storage, whereas the Mix Flip starts at 256 gigs of storage. A leg up that Samsung does have here, though, is it has an IP rating for its Galaxy Z Flip 6. So it has an IP48 rating, whereas the Mix Flip has nothing at all. So if you were to drop this in water, it would be done for. Let's talk about the cover display on each of these phones. And I tell you something, I am impressed by the Mix Flip's cover display. This is where you see the big change between both of these phones. The Mix Flip has a 4.01 inch all-round liquid display, which I've got to say, honestly, it looks so good in person, and this pretty much goes edge to edge. Now, I'm not saying the Z Flip 6 doesn't have a good cover display, but in terms of size, Samsung is sitting at just 3.4 inches and didn't opt to go with the bigger edge to edge display. What you can do on the cover screen of the Flip is that you can use so many apps. You can use up to 200 apps, and that is a lot to have access to on the cover display. So these apps are things that you would use on a daily basis. So Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you can use your browsers, you can use the Google Wallet on this. And I feel like you get the most out of the cover display here because you can use so many apps. And if you have a look at the Z Flip 6, you only get a handful of native apps that are optimized for that cover display. And I know that you can use more with good luck, but that's one of those extra steps you kind of wish you didn't need to take. One part of that cover display that I love on the Mix Flip is that it's kind of split into three sections. So you have the floating widget, which stays on the screen the entire time. So you can use it to cycle through things like the clock, weather, your step count. You then have the area for the cameras, which then don't cut in to that main display on the left when you're using it for content or you're going through your apps. It is separated into three, so you feel like you get the most from it. If you were then just to have a look at these cover displays on specs alone, then you'd see that the Galaxy Z Flip 6 maxes out at 60 Hz, whereas the Xiaomi Mix Flip is 120 Hz. The Z Flip 6 also has 1600 nits of brightness, whereas the Mix Flip has a 3000 peak nit brightness. And the Mix Flip might have one of the best lock screens that I've seen. This is Nick the Otter. It's a 3D lock screen, and in person, it looks so good. I really like this. If you were to take a look at the inner displays, they slightly differ as well on both the Z Flip and the Mix Flip. They're both 120 Hz LTPO, but the Z Flip 6 gives you a 6.7 inch AMOLED HDR10 display, while the Mix Flip gives you a slightly bigger 6.86 Crystal Res Dolby Vision display. There's one impressive spec in the Mix Flip which beats any other flipping phone, and this is the battery that Xiaomi have managed to stick into this. This is huge for a flipping phone. It's 4,780 milliamp hours, and I just think to get that in a folding phone is really impressive. If you compare that to what's out there already, so the Galaxy Z Flip 6, this only has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which has only just been upgraded from last year's 3,700 milliamp hour battery. If you look at the charging speeds of both of these phones, it's night and day. The Galaxy Z Flip 6 has 25 watts wired charging and 15 watt wireless charging, whereas you look at the Mix Flip and this has 67 watt wired charging, which means you can charge your phone rapid. The Mix Flip doesn't have wireless charging at all, and I asked Xiaomi why, because I was a bit disappointed with this, and they said they weren't able to fit it in because it was just too thin, yet the Galaxy Z Flip 6 is able to fit it in. Let's talk cameras on these flip phones because they both offer something a little bit different. What they both offer is a dual camera setup and a 50 megapixel main sensor, where the Galaxy Z Flip6 is an f1.8 sensor and the Mix Flip is f1.7. But their second camera is where they differ, and the Z Flip will give you that 12 megapixel ultra wide and the Mix Flip is going to give you a second 50 megapixel 2x optical zoom telephoto camera. The Galaxy Z Flip6 will give you a 2x zoom, but it's digital zoom, so it's not going to compete with the same quality as having a telephoto 2x optical zoom that you get on the Mix Flip. We've not had time to test the cameras yet on either the Z Flip6 or the Mix Flip just yet, but you know that whatever one you're going to pick, you're going to get some decent camera quality from the pictures that you have. But I suppose the biggest question is, do you want an ultra wide or do you want a telephoto? If you pick up any of these phones, you're going to get a bit of a different software experience depending on the one you pick. Now, the Z Flip 6, of course, has One UI, and on the Mix Flip, you've got Hyper OS. And I think that you're going to get a better experience with a Galaxy Z Flip 6 and using One UI than you are with Xiaomi's flipping phone.